Double whammy.
The topics, but I actually want to talk about the topics after the review notes because I feel like that'll make more sense after we do them. The homework is the review assignment, and if you guys could on here put due Thursday 5/16. Review assignment is due Thursday 5/16. It's all of this week's homework basically. That's not true. It's not Fridays, but okay. Anyway, any questions about that? Okay. All righty. Again, we have a test, but I'm going to go over the topics after we do the review notes because I want to talk about what they are. Okay, solve each inequality and graph its solution. Okay, every inequality starts the same. You pretend it's equals. So I wrote the same exact thing here, but instead of greater than or equal to, I wrote equals. Oh, by the way, I have brought a guest speaker today. He's here to talk about inequalities. His name's Arthur because I think he's an alligator, but we're gonna ignore that and say that he's a crocodile because I'm a weirdo. Yeah, just I may or may not have been cuddling him all day, and he may or may not have had some Starbucks earlier. Yeah, I may or may not have taken photos with him in the Starbucks. Anyway, it's fine. It's fine. Okay. So first thing we're gonna do is distribute. So negative 190 equals 4x. Negative 6 times negative 7 is positive 42x. And then negative 6 times positive 1 is minus 6. Okay, then I'm going to combine these. So negative 190 equals 46x minus 6. Add 6. Negative 184 equals 46x. I feel like it's 4. Yeah. Okay. Step 1, pretend it's equals. In that particular case, step 1 was long. Step 2, plot the point on the number line, either open or closed. Is this one going to be open or closed? Closed. Okay. Step 3, test something that's not where you put the dot. I'm going to put 0 because it's easy. So negative 190 is greater than or equal to 4 times 0 minus 6 times negative 7 times 0 plus 1. Okay, now I got to tell you, I feel like maybe we could be lazy here. 4 times 0 minus 6, negative 7 times 0 plus 1. Does that look right? 4 times 0 minus 6, negative 7 times 0. Negative 6. Negative 190 is greater than or equal to negative 6. Happy Croc? No, definitely not happy. So I'm going to put the false right on the 0, which is what I plugged in. And that means the other side is true. And I always put my arrow toward the true or shade toward the true. What? And then final answer. A lot of you guys forgot your final answer on the quiz. You did all this work and then you forgot the final answer. So x is less than or equal to -4. Also, there were several of you who wrote it backwards. There were a bunch of you who wrote this. This is wrong. I don't know. But if you write it, if you take the arrow and make your arrow the same way as the arrow on the end, which is what I suggest, your variable has to come first. So just a note. I passed them back on Friday, but I'll give you yours in just a minute, like when we're done with this. Okay, does anybody know what this is called, this type of problem? Inequalities in one variable, meaning that there's one letter in it. Okay, yeah. I'm going to go over the list of topics in a minute. Okay, now, this is an absolute value equation. With an absolute value equation, you split it into two pieces. So you have 7 minus 9x equals a regular 2, and 7 minus 9x equals -2. Notice I kept the thing in the absolute value the same both times, but I changed the sign of the 2. Minus 7 Okay, so notice that this one, number 2, doesn't have a number line or anything. It's just an equation. So you're just going to get 2 answers. That's it. Like no graphing, no testing, anything like that, because it doesn't have an inequality symbol on it. Any questions about number 1 or 2 before I move on? Anything you want to say about number 1 or 2? You sure? Okay, so this is called inequalities with one variable. So one variable inequalities. How do you know? Because it's got one letter in it. Yeah, correct. X's, no Y's, or just Y's and no X's, but not both. And this one is an absolute value equation because it's got an absolute value in it and it's an equation. I know. Okay, moving on to number 3 and 4. Does anybody want to take a guess as to what these are called? Yeah, close. Inequalities with? Yes, absolute value inequalities. Nice. Okay, there's 2 types of absolute value inequalities. I have both of them here. So step 1 is pretend it's equals. That's the same for every inequality problem. Step 1, pretend it's equals. Step 2 is solve, and because it has an absolute value, that means you're going to find 2 answers. -4n plus 7 equals regular 3. -4n plus 7 equals -3. Okay, now let's solve. -7 minus 7. I'm right in the middle of teaching. It's going to be a really long time to review notes there. I'm not, but I want to know who is, because I don't know who else it could possibly be. I know, and I'm a little butthurt that it's not me, to be honest with you. I thought it was Mr. Rodriguez, but he also says it's not him. But I don't know if you're asking the right question for him. Sorry, Mr. Coin. Yeah, anyway, okay, sorry. -7, -7. Okay, any questions about how I got that? So pretend it's equals, split it into two pieces, +3, -3. Everybody good? Okay, open or close circles. Okay, 1, 2.5. Okay, there's only one really good option to test in this problem. What's 2? Yeah. You guys make sure that, so some people in the quiz didn't do this either. They forgot to take the absolute value there. So this is false, right? No, this is true. It's true. It's true. It's true. Okay, so because it's true at 2, you make your bar between them Baymax style. But then there's a final answer. People forgot this too. 1 is less than or equal to n is less than or equal to 2.5. Okay, so you put the boundary points on the outsides. You put the letter in the problem in the middle, and the arrows always face the left. You just have to decide if they're open or closed. Any questions on number 3? Number 4, same thing. So pretend it's equals. Split it into two pieces, +15 and -15. Open or closed? Open. Remember to really exaggerate your open circles for me. Okay, what should I test? 0, yeah, I would. But you can test anything you like that's between the two, but 0 is the easiest in this one. Remember, absolute value makes things positive. If it's positive, it just stays positive. Is 5 greater than 15? No, let's ask Crocky. No, he says no. Hold on, that's in the wrong spot. Not that it really matters. It just matters that it's false between them. So x is less than -5 or x is greater than 10. And my arrows are going out just like my arrows are going out in the picture. Mrs. Talbot, if I only knew all of this when we took the quiz. Yeah. Yeah. Anything you want to say or ask about number 4 or number 3? I think that's the hardest stuff. I think it gets easier from here. Okay, let's go down to number 5 and 6. Okay, what kind of problems are these? Shading, yes, but what would they be called? I love you all. You're very sweet. They're called two variable inequalities. Now this one is kind of a lie. It's a two variable inequality, but x is 0. So yeah, it's kind of a lie. But anyway, okay. So y equals x plus 5 is what we're going to solve, what we're going to graph. And then we have to decide if it's dashed or solid. This one happens to be solid. The fact that you recognize them as shading problems, though, makes me happy. Okay, so y-intercept of 5. And then a slope of 1, so that means up 1 over 1. And then we'll just backtrack down the opposite way. And it's solid. Okay, and then I can test any point that's not on the line. 0, 0 is my favorite. I always choose it if I can, and I can because it's not any of these. 0 is greater than or equal to 0 plus 5. 0 is greater than or equal to 5. False. Okay, so that means the point here that I plugged in is false, which means that this side is true. Oh, also, quick note. If any of you are waiting for me and are bored on any problem and you see any tape on your table, please feel free to pick at it and get that off of there, because it's driving me nuts just from all the way over here. Anyway, we had a thing in math 3 today where I had to tape something to the table and it didn't come off, and I'm a Virgo. Anyway, moving on. September 17. Okay, y equals -4. Y equals -4. That is a horizontal line. And it will be dashed. Okay, so I got to find all the places y is -4. and that's here. And I have to remember to dash it, but I'm using erasable pen, so kind of cheating. Oh, it doesn't even look dashed. I swear to you, it's dashed. It is. It is. It just so happens that this is a zero slope, so x is zero. This is a special, like one of the special case ones. Okay, but is 0, 0 okay to test? Yes. It feels weird because you're only going to plug 0 in the y spot. So 0 is less than -4. False. So that means I'm false at 0, 0. So I'm true down here. I'm making up for all of those trues in the classwork. Getting some falses. All right, flip the page when you're ready. All right. Okay. So we'll start with this one. So we have x equals 3. So first step is pretend you have equals. I'm just doing this one right now. I'm going to do them separately. X equals 3 is a vertical line, and it's going to be solid. Does that make sense to you guys? It's got the or equal to on it. Okay, first of all, why is it vertical? It's vertical because there's just an x and no y. And why is it solid? Because it has the or equal to on it. Okay, now I'm going to test 0, 0. I'm going to put it back in here. So 0 is greater than or equal to 3. False again. Now we have too many falses in a row. So this side of the line is true. Okay, now I'm going to do the other one in a different color. So 2x minus 3y equals -3. And this is one of those that you have to solve for x. I mean, solve for y. You've got to get y by itself. So minus 2x remember to not combine those and put the x one in front. Okay, and this one is going to be dashed. See if I can do it. Okay, so up 1 slope of 2/3, so up 2/3. And I'm going to go down to back 3. Is it okay to test 0, 0 again? Yeah. So 2 times 0 minus 3 times 0 is greater than -3. 0 is greater than -3. True. Okay, so that means this time the origin is true. Ah. And this time, with the two variable ones, there's no final answer other than just the picture. The picture is the answer. Any questions on number 7? Does anybody know what number 7 is called? Okay, so inequalities is true. Yeah, the one we just did just now. Number 7. What's the label for number 7? Okay. There's it. There it is. This is a system of two variable inequalities. System means that there's two of them, and two variable means that you graph and shade. I'm going to go over the words again at the end. Don't worry. Okay. These are the normal names. Okay. Here we go. Chapter 2. Everyone knows this. Slope equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. X. This might be an occasion where I choose the second point instead of the first point. Do you see why I might choose the second point instead of the first point? Yeah, easier numbers. It doesn't matter. You just have to pick one of the points. I'd like to avoid the negatives if possible. Now, how do I know to do it this way? How do I know this isn't AB to the X? Yeah, so it says 2 hints. It says slope intercept form and it says a line. Okay, anyway, so y is 0. 0 equals 1/5 times 2 plus b. What is 1/5 times 2? 2/5. Good old chapter 2. Yeah. Chapter 2. It was a bunch of nothing. There was exponents though. Okay. Number 9. Write the equation of the exponential. Okay, so exponential means y equals ab to the x, and we do the table method. You guys remember this? Okay, how many b's does it take? 3. This one you guys probably have by heart. You probably know the cube root of 8 is 2. But a note for the test. You should know how to square root, cube root, fourth root, fifth root, anything on a calculator. I'm not going to answer calculator questions on the test. So you need to be able to figure that out beforehand. Okay, anyway. So we need this number because that's going to be A. So A equals 2.75 times 2, which is 5.5. Is it 5.5? Anybody? Thank you. So y equals 5.5 times 2 to the x. All right, 3 more problems. And then I want to go over the test topics real quick and then I'm done. Okay, number 10. Country pledges to reduce its annual CO2 emissions by 5% per year. If the emissions in 2022 are 6,860 metric megatons, oh my, what are the maximum allowable emissions in the year 2031? Okay, so 100%, it says reduce, so minus 5%. Does that make sense? It'd be down, okay, so that's 95%, which is 0.95. Okay, so I have y equals the start times the multiplier to the x. And how many years later is 2031 from 2022? 9. So y equals 6,860 times 0.95 to the 9. which is 4,323.5 metric tons. No, metric megatons. I don't know that I've ever heard of a metric megaton before. It sounds like Megatron, and I know he's scary. I have. He's scary. Megatron, he looks like the thing of nightmares. Any questions about number 10? Was that one okay? Okay. An employee receives a 3% raise. So that means going up. We like that. That's good. 100. Whoa. 100% plus 3% is 103%, which is 1.03. So y equals 50,000 times 1.03 to the x. 7 years. Okay, now this is very, very important. This is one of Mrs. Talbot's pet peeves. What should I round this to? 61,000.69. Perfect. So it's money. So you round it to 2 decimals. You go to the 3. The 3 is smaller than 5. So you leave the 9 alone. Right. Okay, last one. How do we feel about those two? Excellent, excellent. Okay, last one. Write and solve an inequality for the following situation. Chris wants to order DVDs over the internet. Wow, this problem is old. Each DVD costs $15.99 and shipping the entire order costs $9.99. If he can spend no more than $100, how many DVDs could he buy? Okay, which one is the each thing? Yeah, so that's the slope. So 15.99x. So it's $15.99 for each DVD. And shipping is $9.99. Okay, now here's the question. What does no more than translate to? Don't let Miss Rice answer. She already knows. Okay, all right. So what if I say you have no more than $20 in your pocket? What is a possibility? Less than or equal to. Yeah, good job. You got to think of that if it comes up. You're like, okay, no more than $20. What is that? Perfect. Okay, so this says write and solve an inequality. This is writing it. Does that make sense? Okay, now we're going to solve it. So pretend it's equals. I feel like $90.01. Okay, so hold on. We're not done. Open or closed? Closed. 0 would be over here. Okay, now we have a common sense issue. Can Chris buy 5.6 or less DVDs? Okay, so final answer is X is less than or equal to 5. Because you can't have a part of a DVD, it's got to be 5. You got to think about that with the word problems. Like, does 5.6 DVDs make sense? Wouldn't you be sad if you got 0.6 of a DVD in the mail? Yeah, you would be. You would be sad. Okay, you guys, last thing. Okay, your test is on Thursday. For your test, you can use the back side of your pink paper again, or a 3x5 note card. Your notes must be handwritten and collected with your test. Okay, let's talk about these topics. Topic number 1, identifying whether or not time is congruent, and if so, which properties and congruent theorem applies. Okay, properties would be vertical angles or reflexive, and which congruent theorem would be side, 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 angle, side, angle, side, angle, 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 side, or right hypotenuse length. Okay. Writing and solving an inequality from a word problem. That's what we just did with the DVDs. Okay? Okay. Simplifying square roots. That's a tree diagram, break it down, you know. Go outside, yes. Writing the equation of a line through 2 points. You just did that. That's the y equals mx plus b. Writing the equation of exponential through 2 points. That's the table method of ab to the x. You know what those things are. Okay. Solving absolute value equations. That was number 2 on the review notes, where you split it into 2 pieces and you have 2 answers, but no number line or anything. That's here. Solving and graphing one variable inequalities and absolute value inequalities. One variable has an arrow that's going to go in either direction. And the absolute value ones where you have the 2 dots and it's they match or arrows out. Graphing 2 variable inequalities, that's the solid or dash or shade. And then graphing systems of 2 variable inequalities, if you have 2 solid and dash and shade, the double shaded region thing. And last one, writing the equation for and solving a percent increase decrease word problem. That's the very last ones we did with the raise and the reduce the emissions or whatever. So 100% plus 5% or whatever. We know what those things are. Okay. So they should be, I don't have extra ones, but you should, I gave them all back unless you have it attached to a test in which I haven't handed it back to. See, this is why we keep stuff. I'm not reprinting that. You could write the important things on the notebook. So, okay, now there are a few people, I believe, that I have your test or quiz over here, which I'm going to return in a moment as soon as I